Hey guys, welcome back to Frey's Anatomy. Today we will be taking you through the basics of the heart. We have the anterior view of the heart and the posterior view. You are able to tell by the two sulcuses. Once you open the heart, you'll see here we have the left ventricle because of the thick wall on this side. And then right here, this is the right ventricle. Right here we have the right atrium. And up here, when you open it up, you can see the left atrium. Here we have the tricuspid valve, and if you look over here we have the aortic valve, the bicuspid valve, and the pulmonary valve. So looking from the anterior view of the heart, you'll see here we have the brachiocephalic artery, and then here's the aorta. Right here we have the superior vena cava and the inferior vena cava. If you look here, you'll see the pulmonary vein, and when you open up the heart, it goes through the pulmonary artery, like to the pulmonary trunk.
So over here, we have the interventricular septum, and then along the posterior and anterior, we have the interventricular sulcus, so it's just this line.
Yeah, because then I can.
And then we have the endocardium,
Okay. So I think you should.
which is right here. No, actually, no, the endocardium is right here. And then the epicardium is like the ridge of the outer ridge of the whole heart. And then the myocardium is this fat along here. And then over here we have the papillary muscle. And then these little strings that you see here are the chordae tendineae.
Alright, so the concept of anterior versus posterior is that you can tell by the sulcuses. Now the anterior has the interventricular sulcus, while the posterior has the coronary sulcus. The sulcuses are the division between the atria and the ventricles. The concept of the circulatory systems is that there's two circulatory systems. There is the pulmonary circulation system and the systematic circulation system. First, we'll talk about the systematic circulation system. The circulation of blood throughout the body through the arteries and capillaries and the veins. They carry oxygenated blood from the left ventricle to various tissues and the organs that receive much of its oxygen in exchange for carbon dioxide. And the return of carbon dioxide carrying blood via the system veins to enter the right atrium of the heart and to participate in the pulmonary circulation. Now the pulmonary circulation is when the arteries carries deoxygenated blood away from the right ventricle of the heart to the lungs and returns oxygenated blood to the left ventricle and atrium of the heart.
So we start off with deoxygenated blood. So that leads to first the inferior vena cava, then to the superior vena cava, then to the right atrium, then to the tricuspid valve, then to the right ventricle, then the pulmonary valve, which leads to the trunk, then to the arteries. Then beginning with the oxygenated phase, we start at the lungs, then to the pulmonary veins, then to the left atrium, then to the bicuspid valve, then the left ventricle, then through the aortic valve, and up the aorta, and then to the body.
Okay, so a heart attack occurs when the coronary arteries become blocked due to the buildup of substances, for example, like cholesterol. So the chordae tendineae is a group of tough strands in the heart. So they play a vital role in holding the atrioventricular valve in place while the heart is pumping the blood.
Hope to see you again soon.